I'm like, I just feel like whoever I date might just be using me again, So I feel like it was very difficult to do that. For Darcy's sense, but I'm just following my heart, and there's no shame in that. And
Imagine being a teenager. Imagine your mom is the most famous, most filmed, most filtered, most followed reality TV star in your entire country. Imagine that everywhere you go, people whisper, people stare, people judge your mother's lips, her cheeks, her relationships, her tears. Imagine being 13 years old and walking into a kitchen where your mother is yelling at a man you do not trust, while a camera crew records every single second. Imagine being asked to be on television, to smile, to support, to say the right things, to not embarrass your mom while her heart is breaking on national TV. Now imagine doing all of that, growing up under all of that, and still managing to come out on the other side as a strong, smart, dignified young woman with your head on your shoulders, a college degree in your future, and a verified Instagram by your late teens. Welcome back to the Tell-All Tapes, your home for the realest 90-Day Fiancé documentaries on YouTube. Tonight, we are telling the story of the two quiet stars of the entire Silva family. The ones nobody talks about enough, the ones who have been growing up right in front of us this whole time. The ones who, fans, might just be the next big chapter of this franchise. The daughters of Darcey Silva and Frank Bollok. Aniko Bollok and Aspen Bollok. Stay with me, because the more you understand these two young women, the more you understand everything about Darcy, everything about the Silva family, and everything about the kind of women this franchise is producing now. Let's start with the basics. Darcey Silva married a man named Frank Bollok long before reality TV ever entered her life. They were together for around 8 years. They had 2 children, Aniko Bollok, the older daughter, born in 2004, Aspen Bollok, the younger daughter, born in 2005. The girls grew up sharing the same household, the same chaos, the same eventual divorce. When Darcy and Frank separated, the family didn't shatter. They restructured. Frank stayed close to his daughters. Frank later married a beautiful Peruvian woman named Crystal Mapelli in Mexico in April of 2019. He and Crystal eventually had a baby boy together, meaning Aniko and Aspen have a half-brother now too. Frank has chosen, intentionally, to stay mostly out of the spotlight. He didn't go for reality TV fame. He didn't try to ride his ex-wife's coattails. He simply, quietly, kept being a dad, and his daughters, fans, have benefited enormously from having 2 parents who chose to handle their divorce like adults, instead of like co-stars. Aniko Bollok is in many ways the breakout star of the Silva family next generation. She first appeared on 90-Day Fiancé during Darcy's relationship with Meester, and from her very first moment on screen, fans realized something. This girl was not playing. Aniko had the wisdom of a 40-year-old in a 14-year-old's body. There is one moment, in particular, that the franchise will never forget. Darcy had invited Meester to come to America for the first time. They rented an Airbnb near Middletown, Connecticut, so that Jessie could meet Darcy's daughters. The night of the visit, Darcy and Jessie tried to cook dinner together, a steak dinner. Things went sideways within minutes. Darcy demanded that Jessie cut the steak on a bias. Jessie refused. They started arguing. The dinner turned into a screaming match between 2 adults at a table where 2 teenage girls were trying to eat their food. And then, in one of the most iconic moments of season 1, young Aniko Bollok looked up from her plate, stared at her mother and Jessie, and said, with the cold composure of a child who is done with the adults around her, "Are y'all serious? Both of you guys are acting like you're my age. Grow up. Grow up." Fans, that line went around the world. That line was screenshotted. That line was tweeted. That line was put on t-shirts. Because in 2 simple words, a teenager had said exactly what every viewer at home was screaming at the screen. Aniko Bollok had become, in that single moment, the conscience of the entire 90-Day Fiancé franchise. Later, in interviews, Aniko expanded on the moment. She said, quote, "I feel like if Jessie wants to be a parental figure, he will have to show more respect to us and my mom, because if he doesn't, that won't lead to a very good relationship." Read that quote again, fans. That is a 14-year-old. That is a young teenage girl seeing what grown adult viewers couldn't see. That is the kind of clarity that a lifetime in the spotlight either gives you or breaks you. Aniko, somehow, was given the gift of clarity without being broken by the spotlight. And that is a small miracle. Aspen Bollok, the younger daughter, has had a different journey. While Aniko was outspoken on screen, Aspen was a little more reserved, a little more behind the camera, a little more focused on her own life. But Aspen has been quietly making her own moves. By 2020, she made the 7th grade honor roll at Woodrow Wilson Middle School in Connecticut. By her late teens, she had developed an interest in modeling and content creation. By the time she was a young adult, she had built her Instagram following to over 80,000 followers, leading to her account being verified by Instagram, verified fans, with the little blue check mark next to her name. Her mother, Darcy, lost her mind with pride and posted, "My beautiful supermodel Aspen is verified. Congratulations. Love you." Aspen, with the calm of a girl who knew this was coming, simply accepted the moment and kept moving. Aspen now studies at the University of Connecticut. She is a member of the sorority Alpha Phi. She is balancing her social media life with her academic life. She is exactly the kind of young woman that a thoughtful mother would be proud of. And from everything fans can see, Darcy is exactly that kind of mother to her daughters. Aniko, meanwhile, went on her own adventure. She left Connecticut to attend the University of Arizona, all the way across the country. There is a beautiful, slightly heartbreaking moment from Darcey and Stacey, where Darcy participates in a parkour-style obstacle course with her daughter before Aniko leaves for college. Darcy, in a tight outfit and ridiculous shoes, tries to climb over the obstacles. She struggles. She nearly gives up. And then, because she is Darcy Silva, she keeps going. Aniko cheers her on. The two of them laugh together. The two of them connect in a way the cameras can't fake. It is one of the rare on-screen moments where Darcy is just Darcy. Just a mom. Just a woman trying to make a memory with her daughter before her daughter flies away to start her own life. After graduating from college, Aniko relocated to New York City, where, according to recent updates, she now works as a client PR manager at the real Dirk Johnson socials. That is a real job, fans. That is not a Cameo paycheck. That is not an Instagram brand deal. That is a young woman building a real career in a real city after graduating from a real university. While her mother has been on Happily Ever After Season 9, fighting with Georgie over rent money, Aniko has been quietly building the foundation of a life that has nothing to do with reality TV. And that, my friends, is a kind of generational success that most TV families never produce. Now, let's talk about the financial picture, because this is where it gets interesting. The Bollok sisters have not exactly turned their backs on the world that made their mother famous. Both Aniko and Aspen joined Cameo, the platform where fans can pay celebrities to record personalized video messages. Their joint Cameo bio reads, in their own playful words, "Hey, we're Aniko and Aspen Bollok. You may know us as Darcy Silva's daughters from TLC's 90 Day Fiancé Before the 90 Days, or from our Instagrams, book a cameo with us." Smart business. They monetized the fame without losing themselves to it. They took advantage of the platform their mother built without letting it define who they are. And honestly, that balance is harder to pull off than most people realize. A lot of Nepo babies in this world cannot resist the easy money. A lot of them get sucked into the world of constant content. A lot of them lose themselves trying to live up to a parent's spotlight. Aniko and Aspen, somehow, have found the middle path. They cash the checks. They still get an education. They still build careers outside the family business. They still come home for the holidays. The bond between the girls and the rest of the Silva family is, by all accounts, beautiful. They are extremely close with their aunt, Stacey Silva. When Stacey and Florian Sucaj had their second wedding ceremony in November of 2022, both Aniko and Aspen served as bridesmaids. They walked down the aisle holding flowers, supporting their aunt, smiling for the cameras. They have a deep relationship with their grandfather, Mike Silva. They have, in fact, spent significant time living with Mike Silva at his Connecticut home to finish their high school years, while their mother split time between Connecticut and Miami. Imagine that. The grandfather, who spent 24 years in China, became, in his retirement, the steady house and home base for his grandchildren. That is a full-circle moment of generational love that most families never get to experience. They are also close to their father, Frank Bollok, and their stepmom, Crystal. The blended family seems to function. The drama, if there is any, has been kept off camera. Frank, by all indications, has done a wonderful job staying out of his ex-wife's chaotic spotlight while still being present in his daughters' lives. That kind of co-parenting is the gold standard, fans. Most divorced reality TV couples cannot manage it. The Silvas and the Bollocks somehow do. Now, the question every fan eventually asks, will Aniko and Aspen ever take over the 90 Day Fiancé franchise? Will they ever get their own spin-off? Will they ever step into the spotlight the way their mother and aunt have? The truth is, they could. The platform is right there. The fan base is already in place. The Cameo bookings prove fans want to see more of them. TLC has, multiple times, signaled interest in expanding the Silva universe. And the girls themselves, especially Aspen with her growing modeling career and Aniko with her PR job in New York, both have the kind of natural charisma that makes good television. But here is what I love about these two. They don't seem to need it. They don't seem to be chasing it. They don't seem to be desperate to follow in their mother's footsteps. They have watched up close what fame does to a person. They have seen Darcy cry on camera. They have seen Stacey accuse her own twin of being a homewrecker. They have seen Florian and Georgie get torn apart on Reddit. They have seen the comments. They have read the gossip. And they have made the smart choice. They have stepped back from the burning building, even while they keep the door open for occasional appearances. In interviews and on social media, Darcy constantly talks about how proud she is of her girls. She calls them her angels. She calls them her blessings. She thanks Frank publicly for being a good co-parent. And every once in a while, you see Aniko or Aspen post a photo with their mother, captioned with the kind of warmth that money cannot manufacture. They love her. They support her. They cheer her on. And even when she is at her most chaotic, they show up for her. That, fans, is the legacy. That is the most important achievement of Darcy Silva's entire life. Not the surgeries, not the TV shows, not the fashion brand, not the relationships, the two beautiful, brilliant, well-adjusted young women she raised. With the help of Frank, with the help of Mike, with the help of Stacey, with the help of an entire family that, despite all its dysfunction, managed to put these two girls at the center of everything. So, I want to leave you with this. The next time you watch Darcy on TV and you feel yourself getting frustrated with her decisions, with her surgeries, with her men, with her tears, I want you to remember something. Behind all of it, there are two young women who think she is a great mom. Two young women who post pictures with her. Two young women who never publicly criticize her. Two young women who, despite watching her struggle on national television for nearly a decade, came out of childhood with their hearts intact. That is not luck, fans. That is parenting. Imperfect, messy, very public parenting. But real parenting. And it deserves more respect than it has ever gotten. So tell me in the comments, honestly, are Aniko and Aspen Bollok the smartest people in the entire 90 Day Fiancé franchise? Did you cheer when Aniko stood up to Meester at that legendary dinner table? Do you think Aspen has what it takes to become a full-time model and influencer? Do you think the girls will ever join their mother and aunt on a future spin-off? And which sister is your favorite, Aniko or Aspen? Drop your answer below. If you would watch a spin-off called The Bollok Sisters, type Bollok spin-off in the comments. Let's see if we can manifest it together. And if you have a strong, smart, dignified daughter in your life, drop a sparkle emoji below for her too. The next generation of women deserves all the cheers we can give them. If this hits you in the heart, smash that like button. Subscribe to the Tell All Tapes for new 90 Day Fiancé documentaries every single week. Share this with the friend you always talk to about Darcy's family. This was the Tell All Tapes, and we will see you in the next one.